Hello everyone, I'm Norbert Preining. I'm somehow a strange guest because I'm from the tech world, so don't kill me. I'm very pleased to see that one of the famous drinks from my native country, Austria, is around here. Almdudler. Very surprising for me that it comes so far north. So I also realized that the slides are really hard to see if you have a big fat header bar, so I switched it to the bottom for you. I hope it helps a bit. So a bit about myself, because I'm not in the Typst community. Most of you probably haven't seen me. I'm a mathematician, mathematical logic, proof theory, and this by education. I'm also TeX Live maintainer, you know, this big TeX 9 gigabytes or something. I wrote the TeX Live manager. I architected the whole infrastructure for online updates and everything. I'm working since many years in all kind of open source projects, not only TeX, but also like from here in the area, FOSS Asia and OpenTech. Myself, I'm also in academia for many years in Vienna, in Siena. I lived 15 years in Japan. I just returned last April from Japan after 15 years, and now since more than 10 years in mostly AI stuff in various companies. And since now 2 years, a bit more 2 years, I'm at arXiv, which is Cornell University. So what is arXiv? Everyone knows it? Yes? No? Oh, I see some kind of, it's a website, right? There's nothing more. So rather boring, I have to say. Yeah, so it is the world's biggest preprint server. It's the oldest. It started in '91. So that is when, if I look here, many people probably have not been born. So it was started by a physicist. Interestingly, he also wrote the first code. You don't want to see it. It is Perl, object-oriented Perl that was probably destined to be sent to the obfuscated Perl contest. And I have to say, we still run a large parts of that code. We are presently housing 2.5 million, now probably already more. And we have incredible growth in last years, especially since December, suddenly we get also many more submissions. AI is everywhere, unfortunately. So some of the why arXiv is so important, because many famous results are first and often only published on arXiv. So like LLM research, like OpenAI, DeepMind, all of those papers appear first and often only on arXiv. Gravity wave research, proof of Perelman uploaded his famous proof of to arXiv only. So while many of these papers are first uploaded to arXiv and afterwards to proper journals, it's still very important because it declares prior authorship, and that especially in computer sciences is very important. So arXiv also tries to be very open in many respects. So it's open science, like all of our papers are available with no paywall, and in addition, all the source code is available. Now, that is something that I would like to see all the other publishers do. Well, actually, most of all, we had in early years, we had some papers, we had the ability to allow for papers that the source code, we have the source code, but we don't publish it, but this was abolished long ago. It's open source. We all base all our stuff on open source products, and we also publish as much as possible of our source code to open source. And it's open access. I mentioned it before after the talk about HTML. So we recently provide HTML versions of all papers, mostly because for blind or people with disabilities in seeing, the PDFs are really horrible. If you ever try to read the PDF with a screen reader, then you know this is not what you want to do because it's not understandable. Well, the text works, but formulas are really bad because they read formulas from top to bottom, which is not really a mathematically useful understanding. Anyway, so that is why I mentioned also this HTML in the comment I made before. It's very important, and getting that to work is a huge backlog because TeX has a history of, well, 40 years, and there are a lot of packages that are not supporting proper HTML conversion, so this is a bit complicated. Okay, yeah, we have TeX documents from more than 30 years. More than 90% of our submissions are in LaTeX. We have some in TeX, we have some in EMS TeX, some crazy, but nowadays practically everything is LaTeX. We sometimes allow PDF only submission for people who just write Word or something, but it is, yeah, there are. But it is not what we want to have. One reason is, for example, accessibility. If you have the LaTeX code, we can produce HTML from the Word document. PDF data is considered general, so we regularly had to recreate PDFs. This is a challenge. I will come to this a bit later. We will hopefully get rid of this, but well, we still have to have the ability. There are many submissions that rely on strange packages arXiv provided over many years, not to speak of the concoctions authors, including me, I have to say, write into their LaTeX code. So that often creates problems, right? Just to give you an idea what we have to support at TeX, we are still running TeX 2. That is from 2003. I still remember because I packaged, when I packaged TeX Live for Debian, I was also the Debian developer for all the TeX stuff. When I packaged, there was still TeX 2 and TeX 3. So that's a long, long time ago. And I mean, we still run these binaries and have to compile these old source codes because we really have to get the same environment to rebuild them. Other than this, we have TeX 3, which was up to, I don't know, 2006, I think, Thomas Esser stopped developing. And now we have all kinds of TeX Live versions. All of them are still running and supported. We are currently, all new submissions are running on 2025 and soon 2026. Yeah, so that's the state. Now for, you don't see this, Typst and arXiv. So what's the current state? Of course, there's no support, right? But there is certain interest. We have gotten requests for Typst now already many times. We have people in our arXiv development team who are very pro Typst and Rust developers, and so there is a certain interest here. I have already coded the basic functionality into actually compiling it, so that's not the hard part. So there are a few things that I see as the real block issues here in the long run, and I just bring them here to discuss this hopefully in the future. So the one is we have a huge block. We have to move off on-premise code. We are running since 30 years on-premise in Cornell University. We have to move off that. And at the same time, we rewrite this wonderful, beautiful Perl code to Python and package it for cloud-ready consumption. So that takes most development time at the moment. That is not relevant, but it is a problem, right? One big thing is there is no standard distribution for Typst, right? We can just easily say, okay, every author can send whatever they want if it compiles, assuming you have TeX Live 2025, because practically everything is there, unless commercial fonts and this kind of stuff, which we anyway don't want on arXiv. So that is a real problem, because what is the consequence? If you want to submit Typst, you also have to submit all additional packages that you need. And in addition, that might create license problems, right? Do you have the right to redistribute the license, and do we have also the right to redistribute all these packages? So that is something that makes using Typst a bit more difficult. Then a huge problem is moderators. We have support team for scientists. When I joined arXiv, I was really surprised how much tech support we are giving to the scientists, because they are, no comment. So I can tell you, I have seen documents, people who want to obfuscate their tech code in replacing every single letter by iterated commons and incredible things, right? So there is a lot of convoluted, I often have to jump in the user support team because the user support knows most of the basic tech stuff, but when it's complicated, it's really hard. So it's painful. Another big problem is thanks to some decisions of Overleaf to ignore errors and just compile the PDF. Then they send it to arXiv and complain that it doesn't work well because, well, Overleaf ignores errors. And then one of the big problems I see is persistency. I just mentioned we are still compiling documents from 30 years ago. How will this look with Typst in down 20 years? Can I compile in 20 years documents from today? That is a question we have to pose somehow and think about. This is something that is issues I pose that if you think about, you want support at arXiv and think this is something of importance, and I support this because there is a considerable interest in getting Typst supported. There are a few things from our side, we need also to take into consideration how we can, because if we offer it once, we have to support it in the future for a long time. And that requires running all the binaries, being able to run the binaries, compiling. That includes packages, historic packages, all this kind of stuff. So there is a huge package that has to be think about. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, thanks to the Typst developers for all their work. I mean, it's really great. I like to see this spring up because it really makes it easier. And also thanks that they give me the chance to talk here. Thanks a lot.
So thank you very much for the talk. Are there any questions?
So one thing that would interest me when you say you need a standard distribution for Typst, so what does that look like? What are you looking for? Packages on Typst Universe, a set of fonts we standardize on. What is the desired state for arXiv?
Yeah, good question. What it is, I cannot give a real specification on this, but the idea is that users of a Typst document can write their main document and import a set of packages, and that's the problem, right? What kind of packages? I saw there was, on one of the talks, there was in this upper corner something about only officially or something, some special. So not sure how the packages are organized in Typst, sorry, I don't know. But if there is, for example, so TeX takes everything. I mean, unless it is declared obsolete, everything is in TeX and license, right? Everything is in TeX Live. I don't know how this would work in Typst, but the idea is that user can just submit their document that might use packages, but they don't have to include the packages.
Yes.
Yeah, so you said that roughly 90% of the submitted packages are LaTeX. Could you give a breakdown of what the others are, just out of interest?
Oh, we have PDF-only submissions. We have a few WinWord submissions out of a time that is lost in time. I don't know why. But mostly PDF-only submissions is the rest, right? If there are serious problems with compiling a document, for example, some documents require Lua LaTeX, which we don't support at the moment. Some require strange fonts, whatever, it just doesn't work. Then instead of trying to fix this over 2 weeks, moderators grant a PDF exception, and the user can submit the PDF even when it was produced with LaTeX. Normally that would be rejected, but there is a process to accept this under certain. So with LaTeX documents, there are plain text documents. This is also, there are still today, people submit plain text documents, EMS text documents, and PDF exceptions. I don't have percentage. If you're really interested, I can look this up, but yeah.
Thank you. Yes, come please.
So I have two questions. First, thank you for the nice talk. One is more, say, practical. So I could imagine, so I don't know if it's possible to do this. I've submitted on arXiv, but couldn't you also, for example, and this is in relation to the fact that you said we have issues with attribution and rights. So couldn't you also just like pack a STY file with your LaTeX project, and then there would also be the issue of the rights, right? If you did this.
Yes, that happens actually. People include style files. It happens, but it is the very rare exception, right? So, I mean, if it is like 80% that have to include the package, its storage size, it's a lot of duplication. If it's necessary, some people include this because for example, the typical examples, what is always included is, not always, but often are class files from publishers, because many publishers are too stupid to publish their templates in a proper license. So, I mean, this is very strange. So they are allowed to put it in their submission, but we are not directly allowed. It's a gray area, actually, I have to say. I hope publishers don't actually start thinking about. But actually, I mean, if you ever have written a license or thought about writing a license, then don't look at what publishers write, because that's the last thing you would accept. I mean, it is of course possible. Many people do it if it's necessary, but we prefer that it is not, because every change,
And so the other question, the other question would more be an archaeology question. So if you try to download the oldest paper on the arXiv, the source, then it looks like they've been modified to compile again. So I don't know if anything happened to kind of like try to, like if you look at the date, actually, the modification date of the TeX file is younger, so to speak, than the actual publication date. So I don't know. And it's not a V2 or a V3 or something. So I was wondering whether some people were actually manually trying to, make them.
So that is a technical question of arXiv. There might be updates due to the update of metadata that might happen from the arXiv side without actual changes to the document. There might be many reasons. People change their names, people fix some stuff. So there are reasons why we change metadata without actually changing the underlying TeX source code. But we still have to compile it in the old.
So the source code is like true 91 TeX, because I was interested in.
Yeah, there are, definitely, there are. Yeah, yes. Thanks very much.
Thank you.